This is a book review of The Best of Sugar Jones by Pat Mills and Raphael Boussom-Kluwer. My apologies if I've said his name incorrect. And it's from Rebellion, part of their Treasury of British Comics. And they've been bringing out lots of brilliant volumes. I must admit, virtually every single one of their volumes I've enjoyed in some way, and this is no different. So and also they bring out lots of specials, which is great to see these sort of comics like Misty, etc., turning up again in the shops. So this is from Pink magazine. Now, Pink, the only thing I've got of Pink is this one, Pink Annual 1980. For some weird reason, unless I'm mistaken, I couldn't find any Sugar Jones in that, but I thought I'd point out there was an annual, and obviously there probably were earlier annuals as well. So I haven't got any of the Pink magazines, so I haven't got any of the originals to check up and look at. However, this book, now the stories are from 16th of October 1974 all the way through to 1977, and there's 112 pages in this. So Sugar Jones, that was printed in Malta by Gutenberg Press, and lovely there about Sugar Jones. Now, who is Sugar Jones? Well, she's a model, presenter of a late night variety show, charming 20-something host. However, she's not that. She's got an assistant who basically knows her secret, and to be honest, a secret's going. It's a pretty good secret. And the thing is, Susie, not always the most helpful, I think, of assistants. She's sort of more like, often ends up meaning that poor old Sugar gets her comeuppance in the stories virtually all the time. But of course, there would be no story if there wasn't. The thing is, it's the best of. So I don't know how many stories there were. Might have been hundreds of Sugar Jones stories. And now it's obviously reduced down to 30. Well, I'm certain the 30 are very good examples, and I actually thoroughly enjoyed most of them. Not all. They were somewhere, but they weren't continuous stories. It was like story, blah, 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 end, story, blah, blah, yeah, that sort of thing. So there's no continuation. I don't know if they ever did a continuation story where they went on, but didn't appear to be any in here. But she's quite amazing how many times she gets herself in. And actually it's fascinating because it sort of shows a lot of the cultural things of the period, 1970s. So it's quite fascinating. There's like, now I don't know if this is the first issue, and I don't know if the first issue is included. Unfortunately, one slight issue with this is that it doesn't include the dates. I wish they would include dates at the bottom, each of the sections. It would have been nice if it said 1973, Pink issue 1974. It doesn't. So I have no idea which issue these come from. But you've got Sugar Jones, the first story. You've got here's the art there. And the art is superb. So you've got the art there. And that's Sugar Jones. And she's brought this character who looks remarkably like Tarzan. Well, however, he's not called Tarzan, of course, for various legal reasons, obviously. And trademark, etc. He's called Tarzo, though he looks like Tarzan to anyone. But we all know who he is. And she's a real, I love this bit. This is an old trick, and this round check. But it's a good story. And I love the next one. Now it's obviously, again, the next story is clearly, and they always put a blurb at the top. Obviously, shocked when she looked at her TV and saw, and you've got Sugar Jones, another Sugar Jones turns up, and of course she's manipulative and does all that sort of thing. However, clearly it's obviously the Supremes. They're singing Baby Doll. Okay, very similar. Hopefully a good song. Baby Doll. So then, and actually this runs all the way through. There's some lovely bits in here. This one, and she's always sort of fallen in love with various people, not because she loves the people, because she wants their money. She always, and as soon as she finds out that actually they lead her into no, not interested anymore. So she's immensely sort of, but you've got another great page, and I don't want to show too many stories. They're all very similar. You've always got this lovely, quite often, big image initially, and then you've got the panels at the side. They all follow a very similar sort of thing. Got this massive again picture of this one is obviously King Kong. There's obviously a big monkey there. The world of the monkeys. The world of monkeys. Well, obviously Planet of the Apes. it doesn't take much to stretch to work out with these stories, and it's repeated all the way. But the artwork is really, and the restoration or the it's been cleaned up really nicely. Now I don't know the sources of the material. I assume that they're from various proofs that they've got, because it's really very clean, tidy. Now, not all of it is perfect. Now, I don't think it was from the original artwork. Now, I assume that the original artwork was bigger than this. So, because sometimes, and there's a few bits, and certainly in the latter part of the book, some of the art sort of looks a bit faded in places. Not massively, but you can see that it's not as sharp or as clear as it probably could have been. But there's very few of those. And most of it, 90%, 95%, is just absolutely, this is better, probably better than you would have seen when the book came out, I think. I mean, the pages, the paper quality, everything about it is just great. So you would really I love Spanish artists. Some of the Spanish artwork is always great, and I love this. She's got a bit here where she's got a car called Sugar. Talk about a person that really knows what. Is it possible to get a number plate called Sugar? I'm certain that wouldn't be particularly illegal. Would be legal. However, but the clothes she wears are just absolutely all over the top, all over the place. But she's sometimes dressed as and also she's got this great idea that she's brilliant at everything. You know, she has no about the fact that she should train. You know, she might spend 12, 15, 20, 30 years or whatever, you know, becoming a dancer. There's a bit where she's suddenly dancing in one thing, you know, and you just think, well, yeah, but you do require a little bit of effort to things like, you know, singing or anything. I mean, I do lots of singing, and well, as I didn't sing when I was younger, it's a lot harder when you're actually a lot older to actually start going, oh, I can sing as well as X, Y, Z. It's very hard to do it, and you have to learn and practice and practice and practice, which I'm not very good at. And likewise, she's not very good either. She thinks she can just get it from a book or something, or it doesn't even bother doing that. She just gets her assistant to sort of mock it something up a lot of times. I just love that, but it's just fun all the way through, and that's what it is. It's a fun set of great stories. Sugar Jones, Queen of the Universe. And actually, I love the top bits. They are. Can Sugar be the soldier's pin-up for 1976? And it never works, of course, as you can virtually guess virtually all the endings. They're all virtually obvious when you're looking through this. And I love it. Absolutely love it. And but there's one bit that I will just, where is it? Well, there's one where clearly they've all got the plague. There's a plague story. So, yeah, very of the period, where another one, a science fiction one. You got obviously Tom Baker here. Now, the story is called Dr. Wen. Very close to it. Dr. Wen. And you got obviously, and I love the end bit, but I'm obviously not going to say anything what happens in the story, but it's just great. Absolutely. And there's lots of those sort of things. Lady Cop one where she just thinks that she could be, and there's another one which is obviously a spoof on Charlie's Angels. And it's all the way through this is like this. And it's just a great fun read. But I think 30 stories was just about right, I think. I think more would have been a bit too much. I love this. Totally recommended. Brilliant set of comics. I'm really glad that Rebellion have brought this out, because it is absolutely first rate, and it's got the usual at the back. I think the artwork is just beautiful all the way through, and that's, of course, for me, Pat Mills' writing is superb as well, very funny. But I mean, I love art, I love drawing, for years and it's so I always, first thing I jump to is always the brilliant artwork. But the stories are also absolute first rate, thoroughly enjoyable. And I'm really glad that Rebellion keep bringing these books out. And I say, long may they bring out more and more of these brilliant, brilliant volumes, because British comics really need to be, in a sense, resurrected. They've been sort of forgotten about, which is a pity, because great stories. And I suspect lots of these stories are not familiar maybe to the, obviously, probably the kids when, I know I never bought magazines like Pink and all those sort of Misty and things. I would be buying the would be Buster, Victor, and those sort of things, much to my regret, because there were some pretty amazingly great stories just here. And then, of course, I went on to American comics, so I completely ignored UK British comics. Again, much to my shame on that one, because there was some really great material. And like I say, Rebellion are bringing this out, and it's absolutely great that they are. So best of Shirley Jones, absolutely superb.